Hi, everybody. Today we're going to be talking to Nolan Evers about his show, which is called Pink Shit, and is currently being shown at Slice of Life Art Gallery. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to this show that doesn't have a name.
Rock on.
First of all, I love Pink Shit.
Thank you.
I had so much fun walking through it.
Awesome.
And I just was wondering if we could get started by maybe talking about how it got started for you. Like, when did this journey begin for you?
Yeah, it's probably maybe like 2 years ago, I designed the Dumb Bitch glue sticker, and that's how I kind of got involved at Slice of Life, is I started selling it in the gift shop, and it was really popular, and so I was like, okay, well, if I did make a show around this idea, like, what could it be? And I have a background in graphic design and branding, so I went to school for specifically like corporate branding and marketing, and so I thought like I had kind of a unique perspective as someone that understands a lot about branding but is also trans, and so I kind of wanted to make fun of how corporations will brand products that have nothing to do with gender.
Right.
Yeah.
Which you have very successfully done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I with like the stuff like the dumb bitch glue and the slut gum.
Yeah.
I really liked the little like the subtleties to it, and I was wondering if you could talk about the subtleties that were added in on the side.
Yeah, like I guess if you look closer, there's like a few little Easter eggs, like all the illustrations of her name's Pink Slut. They're all wearing the bracelets in like every photo, and those are also something I have for sale there. Yeah, so I guess I didn't want it to be like too obvious, but I did want to have a lot of like little Easter eggs that are like almost like direct references to certain things in that like corporations have done. Like let me think. There's one magazine cover that's like asbestos what is it? Microplastics aren't real. You've made it up. And I kind of wanted to make fun of how corporations like they'll like know things like say like climate change are happening, but they'll like fund research to say that it's fake and things like that.
Or they'll like make research and
be like,
we looked into it, it's totally fine.
Exactly, like corporations will like fund their own research teams, and then once they get the results, they can kind of skew them.
Yeah.
They're like, things like that. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Can you tell us about Pink Slut a little bit?
So, I mean, there's actually three, they're brand representatives of Pink Shit, and there's actually three of them. So there's Pink Slut, Pink Mom, and Pink Girl.
Okay.
And if you like do any like gender studies, a lot of the times like those are the only ways that women can appear. It's like either as like, like the sexy woman or like the mother or like the child. So I kind of use that concept, but like all of them have the exact same face and body. So like even though they're like technically like different people, it's like at the core they're still like the same like caricature of womanhood according to like corporations.
They're just
like
the
branded.
commercial woman.
Yeah.
Just in different stages of life.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And I used it's like Bella Hadid's face in all of them, and I used her face because
She knew about that?
Well, I don't know. I'm probably too small time for her. But I use that face because there's this like mathematical formula for like the most beautiful face, and it's obviously very, very like whitewashing and like so I used that because I thought it would look really creepy if every single face looked the same.
Sure. Yeah. So Pink Slut is dead.
Yes. She dies.
Can you tell us about how Pink Slut died and just about also the character as well, but also the piece itself of the memorial and how that came together?
Yeah. So
The wreath,
since like Pink Slut is like this ideal version of womanhood, it's like it doesn't really exist. Like the longer you look at the Pink Slut model, like the more you notice that there's like weird stuff wrong with her. Like her arms don't really look right, and so like it's kind of like Pink Slut never existed. So like she like had to die or like she was always dead, kind of thing. So then the memorial wreath as well. Like I wanted it to be like I thought about using like real like fake flowers and just spray painting them pink, but it was important to me that like every piece was like flat, kind of like as like a metaphor, because like this concept of like female identity is so like shallow and there's like nothing to it, essentially.
Okay, so everything is flat to like embody that like just that like cardboard idea of what a woman is supposed to be.
And same with like
commercialization.
Exactly. And same with like the only colors used are like pink, black, and white, and there's no gradients. It's all halftone dots. So like even though something looks like it has depth, like the closer you look, it's all just like dots. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then as far as like the memorial thing goes, I was also kind of inspired by like Princess Diana and like Amy Winehouse and like those deaths, and how like when they died, like people would sell like commemorative like plates for like Princess Diana's death, and how like they just used another like tragedy to like push more products like Pink Shit did as a brand.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like they used this like pink slut until like she died, and then even after she died, they like continued to profit off of her. Essentially, is the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
Wow. Yeah. So like a lot of that is very like kind of dark, kind of a downer. So that's why I wanted to have a lot of like funny jokes mixed in there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that makes it more digestible?
I think so, definitely. Yeah.
Does it make it easier for you to work on that as well? Like instead of holding yourself in this like darker space where you're commentating on these darker truths of reality and commercialization, does it help you to stay in that zone to make some jokes out of it?
I think definitely, yeah, to like laugh at it. Yeah, like part of my research was that I went through like the stacks and stacks of like magazines from the early 2000s. And just like some of the writing in there, it's like you can't help but laugh. It's just so, like pointlessly gendered. And I think like someone from like an outside perspective that had never been involved in like Western culture and like, you know, this idea of womanhood would like be so confused as to why like, I don't know, say like why do women have to shave their legs and like things like that. Like it would make no sense. Yeah.
Which is something that you touch on a lot in the magazine in front of us here.
Yes, yeah.
Do you have, can I open the magazine here?
For sure.
Yeah. So this is Girlfriend. I love that on the inside they're all the same, but I love all like the variety of different covers that you have for it. So do you have any of your quips here that you want to talk about, or any that like speak out to as like your favorite in here?
I guess so. I think like I guess really big time like as far as like shaving goes, because I feel like that's a good like proof of like ridiculousness. Like why are women doing this? Like if you really ask yourself like why do you shave, and at least I think the answer is like because you'll feel shame unless you do, and that's like, and then so I use like an exact example like how that sort of mentality may come from. So there's this, I think this is from Cosmopolitan. They would have this series called like Would You Dare, and they have like women wearing like bad makeup, and then they'd have take like photos of like how the public would react to them. And so this was a specific one where it's like this woman that has hairy armpits, and so they had her go about town, and then they photographed like all these people like laughing at her and making fun of her.
Wow.
And so they're essentially saying like, you know, you better shave your armpits or like people are going to judge you.
Right.
And and so that feeds into like this idea that you're always being watched, and so even when you're actually not being watched, you still feel like you are. Panopticon. Yeah. And and I mean, I don't know, there's like, I think all of these are pretty good.
I think all of them are pretty good too.
And just especially also things like there's a lot of stuff about periods, how so much period product is like they'll never know you're on your period, or like you can keep it a secret, or like you don't want anyone to find out. And like even this is like this very discreet tampon. They'll never know what it is. It looks like a candy bar. And then this ad is like leaks like they get unwanted attention. So it's like you're literally like, it feels like a threat, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like you're putting yourself in danger by making people aware that you have a menstrual cycle.
Exactly, like it makes you feel like there's something wrong with you for having a period, which is very fucked up.
You can swear, by the way, if you want.
Too late. And then, I don't know, and then a lot of like misogyny, like I found so many good like ads about shaving, but this one essentially is like, you know, you want to shave your legs even though it's uncomfortable because, you know, he deserves it, or like, wouldn't he like you more? Things like that.
Yeah.
Like so many ads about shaving are like, these like ads of like someone holding a razor, and it's like, wouldn't you rather have a razor where it's like easier to shave? And then this one is like, it's less hassle, so use this product. And like, and then this ad over here is like a special deodorant for when you have a razor burn. It just like begs the question like, why are you shaving your legs? If like in order to shave your legs you have to buy like 10 more products to then also make it like not feel bad.
Right.
Where it's like, just not do it in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just
the
like
more
creating a
authorities.
problem for you. They're telling you it's a problem so that they can sell you 4 different products.
Exactly. It's like you find that so much of that, especially like, oh my god, like cellulite. Cellulite is not a thing. It's made up. It's subcutaneous fat deposits that women have because they have to hold more fat in case they get pregnant, and then they can draw from that extra fat. And so because that only exists in women and not in men, it's seen as the other, and so it's seen as wrong. And so they can use that as like, this is a problem, you have to get rid of it. Because it's not the standard, because men are considered the standard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Do you... I'm curious about how... Yeah, please. I'm curious about how recent all of these examples are and how recent all of these ads are and whether or not you feel like there's a change in the narrative.
I think, well, most of these ads are from like the early 2000s. Like, I think the earliest is maybe from like 1990, and then the latest maybe like 2010. And I guess like the further you go back, the more like blatant the sexism is. And I think corporations have become a bit more wise to like wording things in a way that isn't going to outrage people, but
do you think it's wise, or do you think like people are like, we're not buying your products anymore because you talk like this? Like, do you really think they care, or do you think they're just going with what more people want now?
I mean, that's what greenwashing is. It's like they're not actually trying to solve climate change. They're just slapping a green eco sticker onto something because they know their customers are more likely to buy it if they think it's good for the planet.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with like ads these days. Like, they're definitely like less, outwardly sexist, but they're still like, you can still find it. Like, there's still, all the cleaning product ads are only ever featured like female actors and things like that. Like, once you look for it, it's everywhere.
You can still see it.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Right. Moving back, you mentioned the color gradients and pink, white, and gray. I wanted to talk about like the color pink and kind of the idea of pink shit. Like, what does pink shit mean to you, and what do you think you're trying to express with that with that name?
I think so. Like, say the standard is just like shit. That's just stuff.
Okay. And
then, like, because women are not considered part of the standard, it's like a subcategory of shit. So it's like pink shit, but it's still just shit. And so like, I very purposely, like, I thought about also at some point, like early on in planning stages, about having like a blue section or like a gray section for like gender neutral. But then I thought like the whole point is that the standard is like man, and so like a lot of these products, like, they don't, like, say like the word like actor. Like, that was already gender neutral, but then they're like, oh, but that's like a male word, so we're going to change it and call women actresses instead, whereas you could just call them all actors. Right? And so
like,
it's also...
Like, we don't have doctresses. We have doctors and we have doctors.
So, like, purposefully creating a subcategory of human in order to create more products to sell is essentially what it is. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Also, the term "you deserve it" is prominent throughout the show. Can you expand on what "you deserve it" means?
So I feel like it kind of touches on like a few things. I think for one, it's saying like that "you deserve it" is saying like this pink shit is like a treat. You should have this. But it's also saying like it's almost like condescending. I find, like, where it's saying like you deserve to be treated like this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it kind of has like a double meaning.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Like. Yeah. Oh, there's an expression about like a smile and a wink, or like you're smiling at them, being like, oh, you deserve this. Like, this is special. Like, we made this for you. But like, there's that wink of like, we're also putting you in like a subcategory of what it means to be human.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And like, you'll find that saying in like a lot of branding, like because you're worth it and things like that, where it's like, say like, I'm not sure exactly what company, I think it's L'Oreal or something, but like they're advertising like this makeup that like you have to cover up all your blemishes because you're worth it. So it's like, it's kind of like they're creating a problem and then giving you a solution for it and being like, aren't you grateful? Like, you really deserve this like problem solver for this like problem that we may have. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of you just deserve to express yourself and be who you are in the world as it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think like a big part is when it comes to branding, it's like at the end of the day, like soap is soap, and like you can only have so many kinds of soap. So eventually, like in order to use a different differentiator, you have to like give the soaps personalities. And then, yeah, it's the same thing where like, if you say, oh, this soap is for men and this soap is for women, you can just sell more soap.
Right.
Where it's like, it's all the same stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just soap.
It's just soap. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Cool. I also wanted to ask you about the bracelets that you had mentioned earlier. I'm curious about how you came up with all the different words, all the different things that you put on the bracelets.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you, like for making like the tags in the magazine, I was wondering if you had any like collaborators or anyone that you went to ask for like their opinions, like anyone who might have helped you along the process of this show.
I mean, I do, like, I didn't tend to add, like, my friends and stuff, like, oh, do you guys think this is funny? Or, like, or I have, like, I'm trying to say this message, do you think that that's getting across? But I guess, like, a lot of the skills I gained from, like, knowing what's good and not, it's, like, I guess I just learned that in school, and so I was just able to, like, use that here. But, yeah, like, I'll message, like, my other friends that I went to university with who are also artists, and they can give me good feedback, usually. Yeah, and then as far as the bracelets... So they're all, like, derogatory names for women.
All of them? Every single one?
Pretty much. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Horse girl, I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot. I wanted to use that as, like... And then, so it's called Pink Identity, so it's, like, all the different kinds of, like, women you can be, but none of them are necessarily, like, positive. Like, say, like, one is, like, dream girl, and it's, like, you'd want to, like... Say you'd want to be a dream girl, but it's, like, you're a dream girl for like a man,
right?
Like like that's a goal or an identity you should want, but it's
like who are you the dream girl for? Are you the dream girl for like yourself? Are you your own dream girl, or are you someone else's?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was also curious about who do you feel like you're talking to, and who do you specifically want to see this?
I think my goal would be for like women to. Maybe men and women, but like specifically for women to kind of like, if I'm able to make fun of the corporate language and for them to see like the extreme, like something that's obviously ridiculous, that hopefully maybe they can then recognize that same ridiculousness in like ads that are trying to make them feel bad, and like be like, yeah, kind of see behind the curtain and that like, why are these corporations trying to convince you that like you can't have a blemish or that like, things like that. Yeah.
So you're hoping to try to like open people's eyes and get people to see what it is they're actually saying and like see the toxicity of what they're saying through a comedic lens.
And maybe just ask themselves like if they had never been influenced by like the cosmetic industry or like beauty industry, like what would their definition of woman be? And like how much gender propaganda the corporations have like put out for them.
What do you think your definition of woman is?
I don't know. I don't know. I think everyone has their own definition. I just know that it just didn't feel like me, and so I was like, okay, I guess that's not me. So who am I? Yeah.
Right. Cool. Is there anything else in particular that you want to put out there that you'd like to say?
Let me think. I don't think so. I think we covered it all.
Yeah. Is there? Do we want any audience questions? Do you have anything? If you're okay with me opening up the floor a little bit. You have anything?
Who do you feel like you are?
Who am I? I'm Nolan.
Nice.
I think before I transitioned, I was like, I thought I was a woman, but I was a woman according to like, beauty standards and things like that. And like, as a woman trying to attain beauty standards, like you are like automatically feel bad about yourself and that you don't feel like a woman. And so for me, I was like, oh, well, it's normal to hate your body as a woman. Like that's just part of it. And then once like realizing like, that's not who I have to be, I guess that like opened up a lot more doors for me. And like, but yeah, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you don't feel like you. What I'm getting from what you're saying is that like as far as who you are in yourself and maybe even being a woman or being a man or all these things, like you don't really need to have a definition. Like do you find that maybe the idea of having a definition is kind of toxic in itself, and that like just allowing it to be more freeform and whatever people feel that is to them, that's more important than putting a defined label on it.
I think so. I think like anything in life, like the sweet spot is like sort of right in the medium, like in the middle of something. So like trying to define what womanhood is, like you're inevitably going to exclude like somebody, and the same thing with male.
Yeah.
But in order to like sell to a mass audience, you have to have like a specific target audience, and you have to be like, have to have specific traits that you're trying to tell people a woman has. But like in reality, like, I don't know, humans are much more complicated than like something you could just like add bullet points to define them.
Right.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Yeah,
it was really, really lovely to have you.
Okay.
I really appreciated this talk.
I hope everything made sense.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Cool.
And I really enjoyed your show.
Thank
and
you.
I hope to see your work again sometime soon.
Me too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.